cmpradio.net. It's the station.
I think perhaps you'd better get aboard and order the train out immediately, huh?
Yes, sir. He doesn't have expert opinion. He's an expert at giving his opinion.
Stop the train! Stop the train! Move the train! Stop the train! Stop the train!
You know UFC, Dana White. Did y'all hear about how the Whites celebrated their brought in their New Year's? They were in Cabo St. Lucas, I believe. White and his wife of 26 years, they were at this club called El Squid Row in Cabo. Things got a little heated between them. Here's a video of it. It's a little bright because it's New Year's and whatnot, but oh, he was about to give me another one. Out of control. White was on an interview recently and he said there's no excuse for his behavior. He said it was obviously an alcohol-fueled argument, and he said that there's no excuse for his behavior, right? He said there's no excuse for hitting a woman. And I'm like, it seemed to me like, yeah, I mean, that's a case in point, because I mean, everybody keeps their hands to themselves. Everything will be everything. But I'm saying, who are we to judge, folks? Listen, we don't know. This could just be how they say Happy New Year's in the White household.
Tell Jacques the cheese is on the train and to save the peace for Pierre.
On the D train with Darren Displays.
I avoid business, huh?
One, two. Done. One, two. One, two. Done. One, two. Done.
To turn on the motherfucking mic. So anyway, so this Romanian slap boxer, right? He was we're on to this young lady. She had a UFC fight last week. Her corner, she was down 3 rounds to nothing in a 5-round title fight. Her corner, she was down. Each round was scored 10-8. She was getting dominated. This is how she looked before the fight, as her corner was not throwing in the towel. She went the full 5, but she came out looking like this, looking like Sloth from Goonies. This poor thing. She should sue her corner. My goodness. So, we all have our career transitions, right? We try new jobs here and there. So my man Shannon Sharp was at an NBA game last week. Lakers Grizzlies. Shannon, as you might know, works for Fox Sports 1. He does Undisputed with Mr. Skip Bayless, who we'll talk about in a moment. So this is what went down at the game with Mr. Sharp, as he was sitting, as you might imagine, courtside. And he is quite the loquacious individual, and he got to heckling one of the Grizzlies. And here's how it went down.
Because after the buzzer sounded, there was a little bit of an incident here courtside at the Crypto.com arena. Dylan Brooks was having words with Shannon Sharp.
And you see Steven Adams comes over to protect his guy along with the supporting cast. And then Shannon Sharp still talking. And T. Morant, John Morant's dad, comes over. Had an opportunity to talk to T. Morant, and he said, my blood pressure didn't go up a bit. Nothing but love and respect for Shannon Sharp. It's a bunch of guys talking a bunch of trash.
And just silly. I mean, for it to get like that here at an NBA game. Hopefully that's over with.
Oh, Shannon. Not a good look. You know them folks tend to frown on that kind of thing. You at NBA games showing out like that. Oh, he's loquacious though. You gotta love him. Yeah, actually though, real quick, going back to the whole slap league thing. Going back to this.
1, 2.
Going back to that. That makes me think. That made me think. You folks ever heard of Calcio Storico? Of course you haven't. You might not have. You might have heard of it, but if not, you're going to right now. Because that little compensation that's offered for those for this ultimate slapping farce, that compensation made me think about, what you're putting out there, possible disfigurement, you're risking that, and for so little compensation, it made me think of this Calcio Storico, which takes place which takes place in Italy, and it translates to Florentine kicking game, Calcio Storico. Now, think of it used to be played by distinguished soldiers, princes, etc. So it used to be played by aristocrats. Now, when you see it played, think of rugby, but think of rugby with throwing hands. Throwing hands, yeah. Here's a video that can explain it better.
Take a historical reenactment, an archaic form of football. 54 bare-knuckle fighters. Place them in a sand-covered pitch, and you get the Calcio Storico Fiorentino. The rules, or lack thereof, look as simple as the day they were written down 5 centuries ago. Punching, kicking, tackling are all fair game, but the only objective here is scoring. 2 narrow nets run the entire width of the field, and shooting the ball inside earns 1 point, but any ball that clears the net is penalised a half. The winners receive not money, but glory, and a ceremonial cow. The calcio is played only in Florence, between only 4 teams, and it's been that way since the 16th century.
Yeah. Oh, so yeah, you heard that correctly. It's played for the winner of this 4-team tournament that they do yearly. And you saw the human records that it becomes. The winner gets the ceremonial cow and a meal. Like a meal, listen, I'd have to pass on that, even if I am a well-bodied, able-bodied male resident of one of these villages. Nah. Because that compensation, much like this stuff right here, that compensation.
2.
One more time. Oh my goodness.
When you're slapped, you'll take it and like it.
Pass. Oh, back to Storico. Henry III of France attended a game in his honor. And after he saw it, he said that he called it too small to be a war and too cruel to be a game. Interest waned in Storico in the 17th century. And it was brought back, incidentally, by Benito Mussolini. And they were played in streets and squares of Italy. From its early history to today's combat tactics that are allowed: headbutting, punching, elbowing, and choking. Damn. Due to often fatal injuries, sucker punches and kicks to the head are currently banned, it says. Also prohibited more than one player attacking an opponent. Any violation leads to being expelled from the game. In order to play, you have to be born in Florence or resident for at least 10 years. And players with criminal convictions are excluded. The winning team used to receive a palio and a cianania. That has been reduced to a big dinner for the team. Besides bragging rights, no other compensation is offered. Ain't that something? What we got next, man? What we got next for my passengers? That moves us on. Wait. Back to Shannon Sharp. I'm sorry, but I was feeling this sweater. I'm feeling the sweater. I probably can't afford it, but I'm feeling it. So real quick, folks, do you recognize this NASCAR driver? Does anybody recognize? No? All right, I tell you what. I will give you a hint in a second. All right, here's a hint.
Yes, no, maybe. I don't know. Can you repeat the question? You're not the boss of me now. You're not the boss of me now. You're not the boss of me.
And there you go. Frankie Muniz, formerly of the TV show Malcolm in the Middle. He is recently signed to the ARCA Minyard series in the team's number 30 Ford Mustang. And there you go. So he's actually, his highest finish was 15th in 2009. So he's been doing this NASCAR thing for a minute. Who knew? I wonder what that little rabble-rouser Dewey is up to, though. That guy that used to play Dewey, I wonder what he's into. Dewey was a little rabble-rouser. Speaking of rabble-rousers that cause havoc wherever they go, we got this gentleman, and this took place at the Dallas-San Francisco game last week. If you don't recognize that fella, that's former Sacramento, LA, etc. forward Matt Barnes, when he ran into his fiance's ex-husband at the game. Now, if you can zoom in your eyes a little bit on Barnes's mouth, you'll notice that, yeah, he's preparing to spit on that fella. He is preparing to spit on that fella right there. His wife's ex. And won't you here, check this out. So he's about to spit on him. Barnes actually filed a restraining order in LA County Court 2 days after this. He alleges that Patterson was the aggressor in this situation, and Barnes says that Patterson, quote, hunted him down and aggressively confronted him. He said the 37-year-old yelled profanities at him and called him names and incited the crowd around him by repeatedly saying his name. We get a little chant going, Matt Barnes, Matt Barnes, Matt Barnes. Said Barnes, I did not want the altercation to physically escalate further, and out of frustration with him seeking me out and his unrelenting repeated harassment, I spit in his direction in disgust. Are you kidding me? Yeah, wait. Let's read that. I did not want the altercation to physically escalate further. So you spit. So that was your, in my experience, one way to really escalate something is to spit on someone.
Boy, that escalated quickly. I mean, that really got out of hand fast.
It jumped up a notch.
It did, didn't it?
Yeah, I stabbed a man in the heart.
And that might happen if you spit in somebody's face. Cops tell us they were called to the scene to investigate an allegation of battery, where they say the alleged victim ID'd 42-year-old Barnes as the suspect. They said an investigation into the case remains ongoing. Barnes' request for the TRO, he said Patterson Jr. has been terrorizing him for months, believing the man is, quote, jealous of my relationship with his wife. And at one point in 2022, he said that Patterson threatened to shoot him with a gun. I don't know. Considering what we know about Matt Barnes, we might have to be, even though this guy is a Cowboys fan here, we might have to be a little sympathetic to him. Because do we all remember when Matt Barnes went to his old house to confront his old teammate about dating his old wife? And then Barnes' defense was, because they said that Barnes drove 95 miles to get in that skirmish at his old house with former teammate Derek Fisher. Barnes said, I didn't drive 95 miles. I drove around the corner. We lived around the corner. Oh my goodness. Yo, beef is something easily made when someone runs into his crazy ass. Oh man. Anyone that he's put a ring on, His TRO was granted this past Wednesday though, by the way. Can you believe that? I wonder if they took that into account, the whole spitting thing. Excuse me. Anyway, that brings us to, we talked about Skip Bayless a moment ago. And, oh, wait, back to, speaking of Skip Bayless, and, you know, my man Shannon acting like that. Shannon, you can't, everybody is not Skip Bayless. You can't be, I understand every day you're dealing with that guy, it gets you a little revved up. But, so Bayless, after the Cowboys defeat last week against the Niners, Bayless had this performative action to do right here. All right, cut. Run it again, Skip. We're going to need more feeling. You know what I mean? You look at this. Hold on. Now watch this. Watch it. Zoom your eyes on the door, because then you can see this right there. You can see him standing right there waiting for his cue. And this guy's involved in production. You know better than that, Skip Bayless. That's sad. Come on now. Come on now. Oh, speaking of Cowboy rooters that are lazy at their job, we got this fella here. You recognize him. This Tony Romo with that big ass smile on his face, because he's thinking, they pay me for this? This is Romo last week during Buffalo and Cincinnati's game, where he just, listen to this commentary right here.
Barely out wide. It's a perfectly thrown ball, but it's a little wide.
A perfectly thrown, that ball was perfect. A little wide, but perfect. So Romo just sits there now. This is pretty much, because the first couple of seasons, everybody was like, wow, he's so awesome at predicting plays and what have you. But Romo was just going off of, he was just fresh out the game. He was going off of his knowledge and his connections, knowing what he knew. But since the game has changed in a lot of ways since he has played, now you can hear it. You've heard it for the past 2 seasons, where he just basically rolls out of bed, gets in front of the mic, just starts spewing platitudes about whoever the big name quarterback is that's playing, and there you go. Oh, excuse me. Got to eat breakfast before next week's show. Oh yeah, my brother. Speaking of which, next week my brother is crossing crossing the aisle, jumping the broom, etc. And he will be, damn, Gerald put the double exclamation, I just saw Gerald put the double emoji exclamation point, John. Oh yeah. Wait, what are you saying, Gerald? That's how those 49ers Chief fans going to look. Oh, you saying? You thinking the Chiefs are going down? Okay, all right. I'm thinking. You know what? We'll talk about the Chiefs and the Bengals momentarily. I got you. CMPRadio.net. It's P. We'll talk about the Chiefs and the Bengals momentarily. But back to finishing up with Romo. Oh, wait. Forget about Romo and his lazy ass. Cowboys fans. One last thing about y'all. One last thing about y'all. This went another conflict that went down at the game. So here are some Cowboys fans down in the concourse at AT&T Stadium. What is that?
Cowboys fans. We suck.
On their own folks. What was up with this boy? What was this? The crouching tiger? That's he's got his own style here. What was that? Oh my goodness. So that moves us on to Chiefs-Bengals, right? Chiefs-Bengals, which is the later game for today on Championship Sunday. Last week, Bengals are coming off that win last week against the Bills. They look strong, right? But the Bills, when you think about it, the Bills' offense was basically, hey, Josh, work that magic, boo. You knew it when the Bills called Cole Beasley late in the season basically the NFL version of texting somebody at 2 a.m, yo, you up? To get him back on the team. Because outside of Stephon Diggs, there aren't a lot of weapons on that team. Of course, that Beasley signing didn't work out as well. And the offensive line is a little... I think one thing that definitely helped the Bengals out was, those white uniforms in that snow. It was like Colonel Stewart in Die Hard 2. It reminded me of that. The Colonel Stewart effect. They blended in. I'm telling you. Now, they talk about Mahomes' ankle. And Mahomes has been trying to hold up the whole, everything's fine, the whole gamesmanship. But I think that you ever think of going the other way? Jim Brown used to use it to great effect. I'm talking about the 2000 season, Ohio State is playing Michigan. Running back from Michigan, Chris Perry, who had a hell of a game that day. But he kept continuously gashing the Buckeyes, right? And after each time he got tackled, he lays there for a second like he's hurting or he's winded or tired. He gets up. And then eventually in the third quarter, it was a timeout. The trainer comes running out to him thinking like, are you okay? Perry's on one knee. He looks at them and goes, shrugs, I'm fine. Jim Brown used to do that all the time. It's a psychological, because you see, as a defender, you keep thinking to yourself, all right, we got him now. He's tired. We got him. And then, but at the same time, this guy turns around, still keeps gashing you, even though he looks like, oh, I'm in pain. He's limping back to the huddle. That's what Mahomes should do. If Mahomes is 80%, look like you're 60%. I don't know. What do you think? Big Red, though, either way, we know it is watching Big Red coach for 15 years. He's going to do something that he's loath to do, which is run the ball. So that'll be interesting to see. My bad, Joe. He put the double exclamation point. The line. Did you see the line? I think somebody knows something, or somebody made a big bet that moved it one way to the other. Because it started out Kansas City 2.5, then it went to Cincinnati -3. Now let's see what the line is now. Cincinnati Bengals, KC Bengals line. Oh no, I typed in KC Ben Lin. Gave me a Korean-looking fella. KC Bengals line. Hold on here. KC Bengals line. There we go. There we go. No, shit. Hold on. Zoom in, boy. Thank you. KC betting line. Let's see. Let's go to River. First thing pops up. Bet Rivers. And the line. Why didn't I just go to FanDuel shit? The line is Chiefs, back to Chiefs -1.5. So you basically betting on the Chiefs to win. Andy, with a week to go with Justin. I don't know. The Chiefs, will they be able to take care of the Bengals offensive line? I like the Chiefs, actually. Because the anointing of Burrow, I can't take it. Too much of it. The media coverage, not just the Burrow, but the Eagles' opponent, the Niners. This anointing, this love of the narrative that they want to push. Oh, it's sickening. It's so lazy, So I'm actually, but then, see, I just got annoyed, and that sounds like oof. I like it. I like KC. Not enough to bet money on it, but enough to like them. But that moves us on to, that's what I'm talking about here. Go Birds. All right, so, before we talk about the game, though, can I tell you that Jalen Hurts has released a hot sauce. There's a hot sauce in Louisiana brand hot sauce edition, Jalen Hurts, limited edition, and it's to benefit It's to benefit the Changing Mindsets Foundation, and which helps underprivileged youth. And it's only available online. I keep telling P, I got my sources. So we got this exclusive statement from Jalen Hurts concerning his hot sauce release.
I got hot sauce in my bag.
Sweat. You see, that's how little time he had for us, because this is such a small podcast that he had to just be out. We know the rest. We finished it for him. Yeah. So there you go. CMPRadio.net. You're on the D Train with Darren DeVoue as we're talking about today's NFC title game with your EAGLES Eagles taking on the San Francisco 49ers. Listen, 2001, the last game at the Vet, you couldn't have told me that the Eagles would not lose. I wouldn't have cared if they were playing the 72 Dolphins, whoever. You couldn't have told me. But we turned around and lost that game. And sent me into a 4-month depression, right? But I felt so confident because we had beaten them multiple times, the Buccaneers I'm talking about. Beaten them multiple times. Yeah, last game at the Vet, that team was stacked for the Birds. Deuce goes on that. We get that kickoff return from B. Mitch. Deuce breaks that long run. And then it was all sitting pretty. Feeling so confident that day. That's the only thing that gives me reservations, because aside from if you don't turn it over and you stop the San Francisco running game, I mean, forget about it. Forget about it. I see A.J. Brown dominating. I don't see a big game from the bad Bosa with Lane Johnson he's got to face up against. I just can't see it. This 7th round pick. This guy, again, this narrative that they want to push. But there's a reason that he's a 7th round pick, right? There's a reason that the Niners traded up, gave all those picks away to get to Trey Lance. I have a hard time envisioning anything. I don't want to say it. Go Birds. That's all. I just don't want to jinx it. I just don't want to jinx it. I can't jinx it. Can't jinx it. But all I know is one thing's for sure. There's an A.J. Brown bet. A.J. Brown, anytime touchdown. Let me tell you, I'm going with 2 fistfuls of cash to the window at Harrah's. Boom! Putting it down on that, baby. Well, wait, we talked about my betting habits before. All right, so even if I go up there with a 50, I'm still going to be sliding that thing across. It hurts. I don't know. But go Birds. I figure... I ain't even gonna say, no, can't say it. Don't want to jinx it. But with that said, don't forget, for all your marketing needs, go to Northern Marketing and Design. You ask their customers, they'll tell you it's their ability to design each package to their clients' unique needs. Go to the CMPRadio.net Facebook page. Go to the CMPRadio.net page. Check out our sponsors, or go to northernmarketing.org. Coming up later on the D Train, we're going to talk about how we're all going to meet our eventual destruction. Michael Jackson still indoors. Got a little personal story about that. That and more. You're on the D Train with Darren DeVoue on CMPRadio.net. It's the station.
Nobody leaves the train. We will stop here only for 2 minutes. Captain.
What does she want us to do? She wants us to blow up the train.
Oh, no, you misunderstand.
What shape is the train in? It'll be repaired by morning.
Recapping the week like no one else.
Oh, speaking of frauds, does anybody know this gentleman here? This gentleman, this Shred, this is secret. How can I be down? He's known as the Liver King. He's the Liver King. showing you why he is. Here's the Liver King showing you why.
What up, Primals? Liver King here. We just took down a Mongolian yak. And where do you think we're gonna start? Of course, the liver first, because liver is king. More!
Dude, liver's disgusting. Alright, let's talk about that. Liver is disgusting. I remember when my mom made liver and onions when I was a kid, and like I ate the one and I was like, God, it's awful. It smells funny. It tastes. Ugh. What can I do to get this off the house menu in perpetuity? Right? Then I go to school and basically you're learning about the body and you're learning about the internal organs, and then like as I learned about the liver, I'm like, so wait, that's the body's toilet. Why would anybody want to eat liver? Like, all that stuff passes through there. That's part of the filtration system of your body. And, ew, dude.
I see Levicious finally giving you a train.
Some train. You see any artillery? A road that a man can feel is important?
On the D train, Darren Displays.
Block on the D-Train with Darren DeVoue on cmpradio.net. And our next block, we talked before about gun safety. I think we got an attempted murder disguised as gun safety incompetence. We'll talk about my girl Marilyn Mosby, Baltimore City District Attorney, as cheating in college. I didn't know. I found out about a new way that the kids are cheating in college nowadays. That and more in our second block. But don't forget, at the Boys and Girls Club of Chester, their volunteers invest in the children's future by acting as mentors to their students. You can find out more about the Boys and Girls Club of Chester about their events and about volunteering, and as well as membership. Go to boysgirlsclubchester.com and you can find out more right there. Second block of the D Train with Darren DeVoue on cmpradio.net. Thank you once again for joining. And so real quick, before we get into the condition of Philadelphia streets, let's talk about, I want to tell you a little personal quick story that happened this week. I have upstairs neighbors, right? Upstairs neighbors, they're originally from the Middle East. The kids are bilingual, little kids though. But the little kids are upstairs, I can hear them listening. They're from the Middle East. And then I'm listening, and then you hear this, and you can hear them saying it in their native language. I was like, wait a second. You've been hit by a smooth criminal. I said, damn, and I was listening to the way these kids were jamming to it. And I think of, my goodness, how many years? It's been over 20 years since that man passed away. Kids that weren't even born yet when he died. And yet they're jamming. What was it in his music that he endures? And then when I was trying to find that version, because I was definitely trying to find that Middle Eastern version of what the kids were saying, of Smooth Criminal that the kids were singing, but the best I could come up with, found this. This came this summer, and this was in Shanghai. shit. Come on. It's smooth. Damn. She was kicking that shit. He endures, though. I saw that video. I saw that crowd, and I said, it's official. Michael Jackson is forever. All right. We've been driving. You drive those Philly streets, and it looks like damn meteor shower. They've been beating up the streets there because of all them potholes. Infamous. But don't you know, there was a report this week. Action News found questionable repairs by the city with regards to filling potholes. They would use broken wood and some debris that leaves people with punctured tires. Road ditches can be created, how they were fixing road ditches. Road ditches are created a number of ways, but it's often from a plumber or a utility crew performing new sewer and water line connections in the street. The City of Philadelphia's City Streets Department Supervisor Stephen Lorenz said plumbers are supposed to fill the ditches with dirt, make a temporary patch with asphalt, and then submit a backfill card to his department to finish it. But that isn't happening according to the report from Action News. Lorenz said the goal is to finish the process in 45 days. The city is only filled, they're saying that the city's only filled 30% of the road ditches that they have throughout Philadelphia. 30%. Your suspension get worn out in that city. Oh, man. So this fella here, there's a gentleman I tell you, okay, let me see. I tell you that somebody got shot cleaning a gun in North Philly. Or damn, I just forgot. I was about to say, what block, what city, what part of the Philly is it in? All right, 1600 block of North 18th Street, an unidentified 33-year-old, he shot his wife while he was cleaning his gun. He said he forgot that it was loaded. You know you can just, it's right there in front of you. You can just open it up and see, right? So he said he forgot. He said he shot his wife. Well, his wife was accidentally shot in the abdomen. She was taken to Temple University Hospital where she was in stable condition. And police are treating it as an accident. But I'm thinking that's attempted murder. He was just, once he saw she didn't die, he was like, oh. You know, that was the story he was going to go with. Oh, I was just cleaning my gun. But, I mean, even if it was real, damn, like to clean your gun and not check it.
What did we learn?
I don't know, sir.
I don't know either. I guess we learned not to do it again.
Yes, sir.
I know what we did.
Yes, sir. It's hard to say.
Oh, yep. So that's North Philly for you. Although, you know, that's not fair, Darren. That could happen in any section of the hometown that you love and hate both equally. What we got next, folks, is a little positive news. The Philadelphia Union, they got that supporter organization, the Sons of Ben. The Sons of Ben had a fundraiser that was to benefit Chester's Bernardine Center. The Bernardine Center is a social service organization, provides aid to residents since 1996. The donations will benefit the center's food bank, baby supplies, computer lab, and educational programming. Come to find out, it's a yearly thing that they do. And Eric Justino, Sons of Ben philanthropy director, said the fundraiser is part of the group's Kick Hunger yearly drive. So I've been thinking about getting me some I'm trying to be like these guys in the respect that I'm thinking about making that, throwing that up for them, at least for season tickets for the Union. Because even despite with the Union's success getting to the MLS finals this year, you know, those tickets are pretty affordable. Also, though, I think I want to be a season ticket hoe. I want to get Union tickets, then I want to then dump those, get Temple basketball tickets, since Aaron McKee's the coach, and then turn around, dump those, and then get Temple football tickets because you can't get those seats on a Sunday, boy. It's nice to be at the vet being that low to the field. But enough about my aspirations to be a hoe. I mean, season ticket hoe. Oh, well, actually, no. I'm trying to be a hoe to you. Hey, Marilyn Mosby. Hey, girl. That's Baltimore DA, Marilyn Mosby. And she can cut a plea deal with me anytime. Throw the book at me. So Marilyn started the week with 4 attorneys. As we talked about before, she's on trial for lying on an application and using that, or loan application, and using that for vacation homes. So she started the week off with, she started the week off with 6 attorneys. She's down to none. All right? She's down to none. All 6 have withdrawn or have asked to be withdrawn from the case, and it looks like the judge is going to grant it, which will cause the 3rd delay in this trial. What happened was 4 of the 6 came from one law firm. The one guy, he might be a co-defendant in this case, or so he can't testify. He can't be her lawyer, conflict of interest. That's, according to Mosby, that's the lawyer that she mainly wants to be her lead attorney in this case. She doesn't want the other 3 from this case that could represent her from this law firm. Now, that leaves 2 attorneys. And so the other 2 attorneys are like, listen, man, you asked us to be like coming off the bench and set some picks, grab a few boards here and there, and now you're trying to get us to be handling the ball and score points. So they said, no, we can't do that either. So they backed out. And so there's Mosley left with no representation.
I don't know how to put this, but I'm kind of a big deal.
Yeah, big deal with no representation. What's up with all what's up with all the leadership catching charges, though, all the time, man? That's so disappointing. Quick break, and then we're going to move into our third. Actually, no. This is what we're going to do. It's time for P to make a decision. And so...
Once a week, a person steps forward to be more than a person, to be an example, a beacon, a hero.
Who's elected Hose? And that young lady is running for senator in Pennsylvania. Now, it's elect Hose because she's very forward about her past as a stripper.
What kind of stripper was she? Was she a burlesque stripper, or was she a full-on contact lap dance champagne?
She referred to it as sex work.
Okay, there it is.
There we go.
There it is. Hit the bell. Hit the bell. Hit the motherfucking bell. She is this week's weekly hero. Give me the rest. Give me everybody else. Let's go.
An officer was on routine patrol at 9:38 p.m. and saw a 10-year-old boy sitting in the driver's seat. Eventually, the van went through an intersection in reverse and went up an embankment into the front yard of the residence. The officer then placed the 10-year-old in the back seat of the car. That's when the 10-year-old boy told the officer his dad wanted him to have cereal before going to school in the morning, so his dad sent the boy to buy Cheerios at the store. He did. The officer found the boy's parents had been asleep. The boy then admitted he had just left home without his parents' knowledge to go to the store. 10 years old. 10 years old. By himself at 8:30. Driving. That's my hero. And he didn't crash.
It's time to find out who gets their cape and shades and takes to the sky as Who's Weekly Hero.
All right, P.
Yo.
3 nominees this week.
Only 3?
Yes, sir. 3. But
last week you did 5 or 6.
Yeah, there you go. It's very sporadic. You know,
it should be.
What goes on dictates the lineup. I'm a little late with this one. This comes from late November of last year, but
you're typically always late.
There we go. I was born late, so there you go.
Yeah, there you go.
You know.
Hey, Mom.
Right. So what we got here is these 3 refugees here. They're on a rudder of a ship.
What is a rudder?
The rudder, the steering mechanism down there on the ship. This is a large cargo ship.
The rudder of a ship, which
a tanker,
which would say it was pretty deep in the water.
Yeah. So they're like
So they're in the boat or on the boat?
They're on it technically.
So they're underwater.
Yeah, they're very close to it. They're only a meter from the water right there. You see it.
What do you mean from the water? They're in the water.
Yeah, basically. They are, yeah. Now, those are refugees. They've been experiencing a high uptick in refugee stowaways from West Africa.
Yeah,
these gentlemen are from Nigeria, huh?
Yeah, we're trying to get out of here.
Yeah, they're from Nigeria.
Right.
And they made the trip to Spain.
Yeah,
which is 1,200? Whoa, I'm sorry, 1,100 or 1,200 nautical miles.
That is fucking awesome.
That's a 50.
That's fucking awesome.
Right. Yeah. So ask me how long that is that they spent on that rudder.
Probably a couple days.
15 days.
You was scared, huh? Don't be scared. Don't be scared.
You ain't scared.
Hell no.
15 days. No. You know that
Do you know what they do to thieves in Nigeria? People that pass fake money in Nigeria. I'm talking about, this is a country that, like I said, there's no other country greater than America when it comes to dealing with criminals, because they just send you to jail.
Right.
You feel me? Like, as long as you ain't kill anybody, you just going to jail. But over there, oh my God, they cutting off hands and fingers and toes and heads and
That's a deterrent.
They will literally go get your child.
Damn.
And cut your child's hand off. Damn. So your child will know better than to steal anything, and so that you understand what you risk for you and your child. Damn. No,
that's deep.
Yeah, I would get on a rudder. I would basically tie myself to a boat and just float, because it's all types of sharks and shit in the water.
Oh yeah. And you know the limitation for carrying supplies. I mean, you still got to get out there, and they're under. So what they do is, you see that opening right there. So they'll crawl in there. They'll take turns sleeping in that opening.
Right.
And then, other people, you stay up awake so you can keep your balance and whatnot.
Right.
Usually you got to plan it out. Hopefully no rough seas, obviously.
Shit, if you got rough seas, you got rough seas. You trying to leave a rough life.
Yeah.
So you deal with the rough seas. Listen, those people, they nothing stopped them.
So
and that's how you have to be in life, bro. You better hold on to that fucking rudder. You understand what I'm saying?
That's literally
until you get the land, bro. Literally. Shit.
You was scared, huh? Don't be scared.
Don't be scared.
Don't be scared.
Don't ever be scary. Next up, V, we got this gentleman, and it's funny you said mentioned passing fake bills, because what we got here is Victor Cardona, 34-year-old
white dude.
Yeah, well, he's Italian, I assume,
of course,
Hispanic, but Victor Cardona. Over a few years, he just got, in 2019, he got arrested, but he just recently got convicted. Victor got 41 months or 3 years and change, 3 years and 5 months.
In a federal penitentiary.
Yeah. Club Fed. He's going to Club Fed. U.S. U.S. District Court Chief Judge Dennis Saylor sentenced him to that. He printed for $476,000 in counterfeit fake 100s.
Fuck.
Then he would have, he'd have people go out, and they'd send them out into Vegas, Ohio, etc. to spend the money and get back real change. Common money laundering technique.
Right.
The way he got around the limitations of, because money is not actual paper. It's a mixture of cotton and linen and fiber and stuff like that.
Right.
So
crazy.
Yeah. So how he got around that was he took $1 bills, bleached them, and then used a printing press to redesign the $1 bill into a $100
bill. Smart.
There you go.
Don't say anything.
Then what happened was, though, this is where he messed up.
He got greedy.
They noticed that only 3 serial numbers. He only used 3 serial numbers.
You gotta have at least 30.
All these hundreds coming up with.
He didn't want to change anything. Man, listen. When you come up with a fail-proof plan like that
was sweet though.
I'm talking about 470. You're taking $1 and making it 100.
Fuck $1 and 15 cents.
You're adding $99 onto it.
Yes.
You understand what I'm saying? So for every 100 you break, I don't care if you spend $10, you're getting back profit from $1. I don't know how much ink and how much all that other stuff costs.
Your overhead.
But I instantaneously I said, wow, $1 turned into $100. Yes. Sounds pretty profitable.
99% profit.
And then all he got was 3 months.
3 years, 41 months.
41. That's all he got.
$5,000 fine.
That's it.
Real money. Yeah.
That's it.
How much supervised release? 2 years of supervised release. That's it.
You got niggas that sell coke to get more money than that. And I was watching this movie the other day. It was on, and
he was literally putting his hand in the federal government's pocket.
Absolutely. But
get your hand out my pocket.
They say majority of the money being passed around now is counterfeit money.
Holy shit!
You feel me? And they was like, it's not just from criminals; it's from the federal government.
Okay. Wow.
The chap be like, wow, seriously? And then when you think about it, they always checking money. You ever give a fake bill off that you didn't know was fake?
No.
Yeah, I have.
I'm sure I have. I wouldn't be surprised.
I have.
Yeah.
Give me my $20 back. Is what I say. But
Yeah. So Cardona's they started tracking the people that were passing these fake bills, and so they noticed that these people all had one number in common, which was Victor Cardona, which led them to him, and they show up on his door.
I go to jail. You want to go home?
And so he had to go to jail.
You want to go to jail? You want to go home?
He was already home, so
they can only give you 3 years. Do you 3 years? Because my thing is, there's no telling how much money he really got.
Right.
That's what they caught.
Exactly.
Imagine how much money he was able to bury. Imagine how much money he got in a boat somewhere that he done bought, you feel me, and done paid off the lease. Man, listen, I'm paying this lease off for 10 years. I don't know when they're going to catch me. When I come home, I'm going to be rolling in the money again. You feel me?
Exactly. I'll have some retirement to some third world country island.
And when you are that successful, meaning when you have an illegal operation that is successful on the street, you go to jail and meet people that can take your
that make
operation
you better criminals. It's crime school.
Level. It's absolute crime school, bro. It's absolute crime school.
Oh, by the way, Mr. Cardona's works, his machineries and everything, all right in his house.
Right.
So it wasn't pretty.
It wasn't.
Once the cops showed up, there you go. It's all over.
That's what I'm saying. It's all over. But
he had a nice run.
But he knows what kind of equipment to buy again. Then he's gonna run into somebody else that was forging other things.
You need to know. You need to do this, that, and the other. And then
they go,
I never thought of that.
When we go home, we gonna tear their ass a new one. And literally, that's what you do. You sit in the cell, you bust it up with your cellie, like, yo, man, when you go home, man, like
that's pretty much the plot of Blow.
Yeah, holla at my man. If it's not, that's the plot of every criminal, bro. When you go to that, and it's all federal though.
Okay.
When you go,
that's where you go to learn.
Listen. You go to state.
You go to state.
Local.
That's community college.
That's community college. You want to go to college? You want to go to college?
You want to take some serious level courses?
And listen, I can have some brothers come up here and tell you, he ain't lying.
Right.
You feel me? Even eating is different. We were just talking about that earlier. How Chi-Chi's and nachos and all that stuff. Crush it up and do it. Like what time they come out and start cooking. They can cook anything. Cook your casserole, a tuna boner. You feel me? They got cakes up in the federal situation.
Okay.
Talking about cake. I'm talking about a salmon cake.
Okay.
A salmon octopus cake. You cut it up, man. Listen, they don't even eat soups.
Okay.
They don't eat soups.
You know, funny. Real quick on that, I'm sitting there in the laundromat the one day, and I'm over here on 9th Street, overhearing this conversation. Brothers, they're like, mind you, I'm from Philly, and I am how I am, so I wasn't, it took me a second. So the one guy was like, they ain't got no bagels in the county. And then the one guy was like, the other guy goes, F no, they ain't got no bagels in the county. And then I'm thinking to myself, what are these guys talking about? They got Einstein. They got
all types of bagel stores in the county.
The other dude say, man, you got to go upstate to get bagels. And I'm like, why would you drive all the way up there? Then I'm like, wait a second, Darren, do the math. Oh, okay. I'll just show myself out of this conversation.
Exit stage 2. But that's how I go, bro. Everything is better as you progress up the ladder of professional thievery.
Okay,
you feel me? I mean, I give everybody they just do. Professional thievery, it excels when you get in the feds. You feel me? Bernie Madoff was in the feds, bro. Do you imagine what Bernie Madoff could have taught somebody?
High school, some cats. Oh my goodness, there's a whole lot of corporate raiders coming out of there.
Tear him a new one. If he didn't die, shit, them Russians was pissed at him. They was gonna kill him.
All right, Pete, our last hero. And this is an obvious choice, though, so why I saved him for last. We're talking, of course, about the young man that disarmed that shooter at the Alhambra Dance Hall in Monterey over the last weekend.
Well, I didn't hear anything about that.
You didn't hear about this?
So, I don't watch the news.
Okay, which is probably a good thing.
I actually slipped up the other night and watched it and was like so depressed.
Okay, and that's what happens.
The first 5 stories was all about shootings and deaths and people's houses on fire.
Right.
People raping people and taking things from people, and it was just like, oh my God, bro.
I was feeling sad the other day, and I was like, because I do the same thing, news consumption. Right. So I turned on. I jumped right on ESPN. I was like, there we go. Right. There we go. I need some sports in my life.
I need the sports in my life. If I can't get the sports in my life, I don't want anything. So I come right in and turn ESPN. I say it to the remote.
Okay.
Turn right to it.
Right.
Awesome. I was pissed last night. I don't like the X Games.
The X Games.
That snowboard and skateboard and all that stuff. I don't like none of that stuff. But what did this young man do? He just
26-year-old Brendan Sy.
Okay.
And Brendan Sy, what he did was, here, we actually have this video. We're going to roll it.
All right. No.
Yeah. No. Yeah, and he had already shot 9 other people at a different dance hall before that. So he was trying to get it in that day.
Yeah. You think so?
Yeah. The young man, yeah, you saw that. That thing was, and that's what kicked in. The young man said he heard the, he turns around, there's old boy standing there with the gun, and he just
instincts.
As soon as
he must deal with that a lot. Just in the whole situation, he didn't point the gun at him one time. Me personally, somebody come in with a gun and I get the gun from
right.
You know what I'm saying? Like, now I got the gun. What the fuck is you talking about? Like, he told him to leave the store. Right. What type of shit is that?
At least put one in his ass on his way out.
Shoot him in the leg. Do something. Like, shoot him in his ankle.
I ain't say nothing about walking out of here. I said leave.
I said shoot him in his hit him in the ankle so he can't walk. Cut his ankles off. Like, it's crazy, but I don't know. He must deal with that a lot.
26-year-old Brandon Say.
That was his family situation.
Yeah. That his family owns the hall, and he was actually covering that day. It's Lunar New Year, so he's just it's going to be packed with folks celebrating.
70 years old though. Like why?
That's what I can't understand. There was another one. There was another mass shooter recently, around the same area, same time.
Rack of people shooting.
He was in this another 60+ septuagenarian. Septuagenarian freaking mass shooters now.
That's that COVID vaccine.
What's going on? He's stupid.
They were supposed to die, and they didn't. And so now they don't know what they
don't know what else to do.
I gotta kill everybody.
Oh, goodness gracious. I don't know.
Damn.
Yeah. So
70 years old, you decided after 70 years of being free
that's my thing.
to go and kill some people. You could have just robbed the bank and went to jail.
Right, went to jail, got your 3 hots in the right.
I don't know.
All right, so those are your 3 submissions, P. We got the
refugees
from Nigeria. We got the counterfeiter from Quincy, and we have young Brendan Say.
You already know who I'm picking.
Let him have it, P. Who gets the cape and shades this week?
You already know who I'm picking, bro. Hold on, let me get my music ready. Right, because
Oh, you want to
hit y'all with this.
Ready or not, here I come. You can't hide.
I'm picking the refugees from Nigeria, bro.
Oh, wow. Okay.
Right. Yep. I'm not picking the Chinese because he always deals with that. He didn't shoot him. I'm not picking him. He always deals with that. We just don't hear about it because it's not a 70-year-old man. You feel me? And I'm definitely not going to pick the counterfeiter.
Okay.
Already gave him his props. He's going.
Yes, you did. You gave him.
You feel me? Right. I want to give.
And he's getting a vacation.
15 days on the rough seas, on a tanker.
That's real.
On the ass end of the tanker.
Literally.
Holding on to the ass end of the tanker, not letting go, not dropping off, not falling into the water.
And some of them, like they're one of the success stories. There's been like 1,200 deaths in the past year. Yeah. Limited supplies, so some of them actually get to, after a while, they do start to drink
the water.
Yes.
Yeah.
Because yeah.
What you mean you don't have no water? Like
we're surrounded by it. They start drinking.
No, you're tripping. You start drinking that shit. That shit will kill you.
They drink some.
That shit will kill you.
Yeah.
That shit have you hallucinating and everything. You feel me? I mean, so for me, 15 days, holding on to that, you can't sleep the whole day, the whole time away. So
right,
we gonna play games,
sing songs, yeah. Talk about daydream. Talk about the future.
Right. Oh, we get to Spain, my men. When we get to Spain. Oh, we are going to see all the bitches.
White bitches, Spanish bitches. I'm gonna learn
Alaskan bitches. Yeah. Shout out to Bulldogs.
Como se llama?
Yeah, they tripping, bro. They tripping. But yeah, I definitely got to get that to the brother that held on to the ass end of the sailboat for 15 days to make it home or to make it away from home. You feel me? To his new home in Spain. Now, what will Spain do?
Oh, they go. Well, they got spotted. Usually they got no. They got spotted by medics. They get usually treated for obvious dehydration.
Oh yeah. What the fuck? No, that's not fair. That's not fair. You should let them stay. What?
They got dark skin, don't they?
Don't give a rat's ass.
Going back. Look at us here. We don't let them yellow skin ones down south.
No, it's not us. That's them.
I mean the U.S. Us. UP. Period.
Guess what? Now they don't have no problem with it because they know they need workers because we don't want to work. we trying to be entrepreneurs. Everybody want to be a fucking entrepreneur. Don't nobody want to work.
Mogul.
What? After that PPP money came out, don't nobody want to work. I ain't working for you no more. Like you got fucking Puerto Ricans answering the phone for T-Mobile. I called the other day. The lady said, "Como se llama?" I said, "What? This ain't T-Mobile."
Lo siento, no habla español.
No,
English, por favor.
English, por favor. And stop playing with me. But yeah, they definitely win that. And
that's what's up.
That's sad if they sent them back though.
Yeah, I know, right? And actually, I got something. I'll talk about it on next. We'll talk about it on
next show.
The next show.
Right.
This what I've been watching. harrowing. But
Harrowing?
Harrowing. Harrowing. Arrow with an H.
Oh, okay.
Harrowing.
What's that? Hollowing?
No. See, I told you, I don't know these definitions. I just know how to use them.
Right.
It's like that dude.
It makes you think?
Haunting. What I think. Harrowing definition. Acutely distressing. That's, yeah. Acutely distressing, yeah.
Okay.
So there we go.
Awesome.
Well, P, man. Thanks, P, for brightening up my morning.
No problem.
Hopefully we got this done without you having to pop back.
I need you, listen, when you come in, I need you to cut the lights.
Thanks, P. P was about to give me my list. But you know what? Next week, or week after next, because I got the wedding next week. Yeah, I'm just going to leave that joint on, even as I'm doing my prep. So once I do it, y'all still going to hear all that. Me, whatever, talking greasy about one of my relatives. I don't know. I love my relatives. I ain't talking greasy about them. But anyway, that does it for the second block of the D Train with Darren DeVoue on cmpradio.net. When we come back, I'm going to show you the cause of our upcoming demise, and it's by our own hands, and it's not pollution, and it's not war. You're on the D Train with Darren DeVoue on cmpradio.net. It's the voice of Chester.
Nobody leaves the train. We will stop here only for 2 minutes, Captain.
What does she want us to do? She wants us to blow up the train.
Oh, no, you misunderstand.
Can we get this back on the rails?
Tired of being stuck on 76, 95, 476, 222. You get the picture. Anyway, jump on this train.
This here is a couple in Thailand. That's Boon Toon Chaeman. He embarked on a road trip with his wife, Nue Chaeman, and they were going to spend New Year's at her hometown located in Maha Sarakan province in Thailand. Everything was going all right until the 55-year-old Chaeman stopped to have a potty break. So the husband, he gets out, pees, right? Wife's in the back seat, sleep. She gets up, doesn't see the husband. She thinks that, all right, well, she goes and gets out herself to go pee. Husband gets back in the car, supposedly not realizing that the wife has gotten out, and he drives off, leaving her right on the side of the road. This happened at 3 a.m. on Christmas Day. The woman, she marched 3 miles down the road to a gas station. She kept trying to call the husband. Mind you, her phone is in the car too. She doesn't know his phone number by heart. She calls her phone, and then supposedly the 55-year-old Chaeman can't hear it. Yeah, okay. He was driving right along like, la, 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 la. They were probably arguing. He got that back seat, saw she wasn't there. Like, that worked itself out. He pulled right off. Finally, they got a hold of the husband, who by now was 159 kilometers away. Oh, by the way, yeah, we're Americans. We don't do the metric system. So that's 100 miles. My man drove 100 miles before he he ain't just realized that. You drive 100 miles, you try to leave her ass. That's for sure. You can bet you by golly wow on that one.
On the D Train.
You know what's on that train?
Darren DeVoue.
It's my train.
cmpradio.net. You're on the D Train with Darren DeVoue. Thank you for joining us this morning. Wrapping up with our last block, and I've been teasing how we all gonna die. And we all gonna die because you'll see in a moment. But you know, we all hear about cheating in schools and what have you, right? I didn't know that the kids have a new way to cheat nowadays, and it is having robots write your papers. according to the reports lately from this Harvard professor, he was complaining about Chatbot GPT. It's an artificial intelligence program that writes papers for students, and they're worried about the unethical use of it in academia, cheating and what have you. But I'm thinking, why would you cheat on? I liked writing papers in school, like myself, because a lot of times you become a better student because of the research that you're doing. It leads your mind into other ways that you weren't thinking, or new way, expanding your horizons and whatnot. So I'm kind of against. I guess some guys or gals as well. Some people going to school and they say, I'm here for a degree, not an education, and they just. But yeah, totally. So, because I've lost a job to a computer, but now the flip side, a computer can get you a job? I don't know. But, so speaking of robots, there is this fella. Now, if y'all haven't seen this before, look at that thing. That is evil right there. That is, I can't remember his name. This is from Boston Dynamics. And it's a robot. And here's a little demonstration that they released a video. I've seen a video of this thing. This thing can do a standing backflip, by the way. So think about that. Here's the most recent video that Boston Dynamics released to the public.
In a Boston Dynamics video, humanoid Atlas robot is seen performing somersault stunts while carrying heavy material with ease. According to the American Engineering and Robotics Design Company, the video was aimed to demonstrate object manipulation, which includes lifting a piece of wood, placing it down, lifting the tool back, and jumping while performing what looks like a somersault.
Dude, you can't look at that and not think we've all seen this coming. Like, come on, dude. You can see it's written all over us. Oh my goodness. That's how we're gonna die right there. Easily. But what scares me is, all right, so I've often joked about those sweeper robots at the Giants, because sometimes those things, when I pass its path, it looks like you. Or if it sees me from a distance, especially if I have on black, it starts tracking me. I don't care what anybody says, it does it. And I joke that the robot is racist, but there have been reports, like studies that show, like even those machines that are supposed to read our hands, right? A lot of times it doesn't read everyone's hands. You found it where you have to turn your hand over sometimes for it. And so you joke like, damn, racist ass machine, or not the machine, but the machine is made by racists. So what scares me is what if racists start making these daggone robots?
That Terminator is out there. It can't be bargained with. It can't be reasoned with. And it absolutely will not stop. Ever.
You know what? But back to the AI chatbots, writing computer. A student, actually, a senior at Princeton University, 22-year-old Ed Jian, he has built an app to detect whether text is written by chatbots or ChatGPT. These robots, back to them. So think about what we just talked about with the robots and what you just saw.
In a Boston Dynamics video.
Yeah. No. Think about that, right? A report was just recently came out that a radio signal from 9 billion light years away was received recently. Now, this signal, keep in mind, they said in a release that this marked the first time that this type of radio signal has been detected at such a large distance. Astronomers at MIT and other universities in the US and Canada detected a persistent signal from a galaxy of unknown astrophysical origin in 2020 as well, from Proxima Centauri had made waves. Now, there are different ways that, now keep in mind that we sent out a radio signal a few years back, just launched it into space. Hey guys, we're right here waiting for you to come on and see us.
That Terminator is out there. It can't be bargained with. It can't be reasoned with. And it absolutely will not stop. Ever.
They say there are many things that in the universe that emit strictly periodic signals, and this is according to a postdoctor at MIT's Cavell Institute for Astrophysics. They said examples that they know of are in our own galaxy are radio pulsars and magnetars, which rotate and produce a beamed emission similar to a lighthouse. And we think this new signal could be a magnetar or pulsar on steroids. I don't know. Oh no, that just makes me a little nervous. All right. So with that said, let's talk about something more sunshiny. This young lady here, this is 26-year-old Tracy McGillis, and she was on a report on ABC about her overcoming her trauma from being trafficked and how she's trying to help others. She has already published a book, and now she's running a program. She was taken, I didn't know until I saw this report that I never thought of it before. When I think of that human trafficking, I'm thinking of that movie Taken. You know, somebody comes and raids the room and you're off to some country. But she was right. You know, trafficking, that could count in your own hometown. I remember one time I was walking in downtown Philly, and this dude, he had a Stetson hat. He had a fur collared vest on, like the rabbit fur. What do they call it? Fleet? I don't know. But he was walking cowboy boots, and as I'm walking, I'm like, he's not from around here. So he tries to initiates a conversation with me. Hey, buddy, and he's walking up beside me. And he's trying to get me to talking. And then he's trying to, next thing you know, he floats, he's got a girl, I got a girl back at this hotel room that'll suck your, I'm like, dude, is my face looking like, I could really go for a BJ right now, bring on the girl. I was like, nah, dude. But, yeah, I never thought of it. I always thought, in retrospect, girl back at the hotel room, so glad I wouldn't have anyway. But there was this ABC report on this young lady, because I never thought about trafficking being right where you live.
The reason why I choose to speak so much about this almost taboo topic is because there's a lot of myths.
26-year-old Benzie Diaz has a story no one should have to tell.
We see television and we see young kids getting taken away in shackles.
She's talking about human sex trafficking, which she says happened to her. But right in her hometown, in the South, she says, orchestrated by someone she knew.
The poor communities, and you see that this is where these things happen the most because people are willing to sacrifice for food, for clothing, for shelter.
She says the grooming process began when she was molested at 8 years old.
If I say anything against this, there's a punishment. And those punishments escalate.
She says by the time she was 13, it had escalated.
There was a time period where I was involved with about 30 to 40 men. At a very young age, when you're tied between fight or flight, you're not prepared yet to fight.
Diaz says she escaped in her schoolwork and sports. And in a twist of fate, after years of being victimized, she left for a scholarship opportunity to a school here in Philadelphia, where she's been since 2014. But the pain persisted.
I spent three-fourths, pretty much most of my college duration an alcoholic.
So she made the choice to get help, fighting off the stigma in her community about therapy. Diaz is Black and Latino.
Having a support system, number one. Number two, definitely professional help. I would say that you need some tools.
With that, she began to take back her life. She wrote a book and gained the courage to begin speaking out about her trauma. Diaz says she also got certified to help women dealing with trauma through her passion, starting a physical fitness business centered around overall wellness and healing.
I was getting feedback that said, I feel so great and I don't feel as depressed anymore and I'm motivated in the morning. I was like, oh, so I'm doing more than just making you look good. I know if this happened to me that there's others out there.
Should have put her down as a write-in for the Weekly Hero segment. Like, yeah. Oh, well, next week, speaking of anyway, we talked plenty of times on this show about my love of swine. P has mentioned before how he doesn't touch the stuff. But here's one little fella. Score one for the pigs in this next story. So, there was a butcher, 61-year-old butcher in Hong Kong. And what they do to slaughter the pigs is they stun them with an electrical gun. And then while the pig is stunned, that's when they give them the knockout blow and hit them with a meat cleaver. Well, what happened to this 61-year-old butcher in Hong Kong, he stunned the pig. Pig was out. Pig came to. Pig wasn't very happy. Pig knocked him over, and then he fell over and cut his foot. He must have hit some kind of artery, because then coworkers found him just laying there with a cut foot. Dude, you know that in that slaughterhouse, they'll still if Dr. Doolittle was around, he would tell you that the pigs are chanting this pig's name. Score one for the pigs on that one. Police investigated and they found that workplace accident. Damn, killed. Oh, Vivica. We've talked before about Vivica Fox. Vivica is out there doing this. Vivica Fox has swiping at the stigma of trade jobs. She's passionate about trade workers, and applications for technical jobs have dropped nearly 50%, according to NPR. And so Miss Fox is out there trying to attack the stigma of skilled workers with a new documentary called Skilled. And it's produced by 3M and Generous Films, directed by Julio Palacio. And it was screened at the Sundance Film Festival recently. And the documentary features 4 individuals in the work environment as they get candid about why they chose trade school over college. And you know what? That's crazy, because a lot of times when I was teaching, I would tell kids all the time, listen, nothing wrong with a trade school right after you graduate high school, man. Just go and start making some money, and then if you decide you want to go acquire some debt by going to a 4-year school, then go do that. But yeah, if I could do it all over again, I'd go get that electrician joint or something. At least that way you always got a way to make a dollar, you know? Like nobody, this communications thing, there's no way to make a dollar from, well, I mean, there's a way to make a dollar, but anyway. Next up, coming up on our last story here, right? So, we talk plenty of times, we live in here, right, in America, and you want to get some health care. You probably went and thought to yourself, damn, wish I could be in one of those countries where they got universal health care, right? All right, well, this story comes to us from the UK, where they have universal health care. And so, there's a young British girl. Her family takes her to the hospital. And so, family takes her to the hospital. They give her a antibiotic and whatnot. And she had high fever, drowsiness, and vomiting. Her lawyers say, and we'll get to why she has lawyers in a second, her lawyers said that the vomiting, the drowsiness, and the high fever when she went to the hospital were red flags. The red flags were for meningitis and sepsis. However, doctors sent her home with acetaminophen, pretty much Tylenol, from what I understand, and paracetamol. The girl actually had spinal meningitis. She turned around, and a few days later, she started experiencing multiple organ failure from sepsis. The severity of her sepsis led to her needing to get all 4 limbs amputated. So she had her knee above both legs and above elbow amputations for both of her arms. And so she just won a settlement for 39 million pounds, or to us, $48.3 million. Damn, thank you very much for the money, but I'd much rather have my limbs. Oh my goodness. Yo, I tell you what, I think for that, say what you will about America's Health, but yeah, they say we got the best. Yeah, I'll keep paying insurance so I don't have to risk getting something like that happening to me, because that is terrifying. And, oh man, we usually like to end on a high note, but that is our last story. But we're still going to end up on a high note by talking about how I'm walking down the Harrah's with 2 fistfuls of cash to put on A.J. Brown and an anytime touchdown, because I think that the Philadelphia Eagles Eagles are going to be... Not going to jinx it. We're just going to... I'm glad that they have the first game rather than the second game, because at least with this, you'll know. By then, it'll be over, and there's no more that sitting in your gut until that 6 o'clock start. Nah, I don't want to do. Let's get it over with. I'm going to go get me a cut and then get something in my belly and get ready to watch this game, folks. And for you folks, wherever you are, have a peaceful, productive, positive week. All right, be safe watching the game. After the game, please drink responsibly. I'll be home, so I will be right within staggering distance of the toilet, so I'm as good as gold. And with that said, thank you, Gerald. Sorry about that. I'm leaving it on all throughout the day, throughout the show next week. I ain't messing around. Oh, next week we won't be here, brother. Jumping the broom, crossing the aisle, and so congratulations to him and my future sister-in-law. And so we will see you in 2 weeks, folks. So have a peaceful, productive, and positive 2 weeks, and we'll see you then. Thanks for joining us. You are on the D Train with Darren DeVoue on cmpradio.net.
What shape is the train in? It'll be repaired by morning.
Recapping the week like no one
The gentleman in our next story, he has stage 4 cancer, terminally ill. And he's been vaping THC.
What shape is the train in? It'll be repaired by morning.
Recapping the week like no one else.
What shape is the train in?
Oh.